Get ready to succeed using our cutting-edge, high-trust strategies and achieve the success you've always dreamed of both on and off the job. Welcome to Todd Duncan TV. Are you ready?
Hey, it's Todd Duncan. Welcome to episode 26 of Todd Duncan TV. Good to be with you, and welcome to a year-end lesson on seven-figure selling. Now, before we jump into this, I'm coming off a high. I just finished the High Trust Sales Academy last week in Las Vegas. It was a smashing success, and very, very excited about the outcome of that event. It got a 4.85 on a scale of 0 to 5, 5 stars being the best. And hats off to all of you that spent 4 days head down and hours and hours and hours of study all day long and homework. Very, very proud of you. One of the things that happened last week is a light bulb went off for a lot of people on this concept of seven-figure selling. And so I thought what I would do is kind of bridge the gap between the Academy, which finished last week, and a Masterclass, which we are about 6 weeks away from in 2018. And I wanted to kind of bridge the gap between what I think everybody thinks is seven-figure selling and what it actually looks like. Now, before I get into this more deeply, I'd like to just make sure that none of you as viewers are thinking that this is just about making $1 million a year doing loans. It kind of is, but it kind of isn't. And it kind of is because you can. And it kind of isn't because I don't want it to come off like, you know, you have to make $1 million to, you know, to be thought of as a good originator or a good producer, a good salesperson. I'm simply not trying to communicate that message. What I am trying to communicate is if you are going to give your lifeblood to your work, your job, being a loan originator every day, working the loan business, then the question I would ask is if you could make $1 million a year and give that lifeblood, would you want to, versus giving that same amount of time and not making $1 million a year? So I think that, you know, with that as a backdrop, I can jump into this. But as I set the tone for this, it's really about you making a decision on managing the optics. We had a big lesson, 6 or 7 months ago called Moneyball. You may want to go back and take a look at that. I'm going to give you a little bit of a derivative on that at this point in time as we kind of prepare for Masterclass. So I tell people when they're thinking about running a business plan, good time of year to be thinking about your business plan. You're heading into the year to follow about 3 weeks from today. And so why not be thinking about what does my plan really look like and getting crystal clear on the numbers that are actually going to drive your results and drive you being in a spot to attain your goals that you set out to attain at the start of the year by the time you get to the end of the year. So there's 4 numbers that I think are very important in seven-figure selling. Yeah, one is the number of months you're going to work in a given year. So I'm just going to pick 10. You could work 12. You could work 11. I know some people that work 7 or 8. Again, you get to decide what that number looks like. But let's just, for sake of argument, pick 10 months a year, okay? The other number that we're going to pick is this number of referral partners. Now, these are people that are committing to give you a consistent flow of referrals that when it's all said and done, average a number per week, right? And so before we get to the number per week, let's just look at the magic number 10. And what I want to tell you is that this idea of seven-figure selling is completely at your disposal with only 10 referral partners. These can be high-performing realtors. These can be high-performing builders. These can be high-performance business owners, CEOs, and directors of associations or businesses or whatnot. So it doesn't have to be limited just to one vertical. You can have any type of business referral partner. Obviously, in the loan business, it's most likely that those would be agents and builders. But in the B2C world, you're going to want to maybe look at some business owners, CEOs, people like that. Okay? So the first 2 numbers, 10, 10. 10 months, 10 referral partners. The third number is the number of qualified buyer referrals that you're going to average per week for the year. So I'm going to pick the number 2. It's a fairly low number. It's a number that per month comes out at around 8. And if I have 2 qualified buyer referrals per week from 10 referral partners, then you can see what the fourth number is. The fourth number is that I would then, in that given month, be able to have 80 buyer conversations during that month. So these 4 numbers super critical. Can you monkey with any of the numbers? Yeah, you can monkey with how many months you work, okay? And if it's going to be less than 10 and you still want to run the math, then you've got to change this number here or this number here. You can leave that number alone and change this to 20 and lower this to 1. You could change this to 5 and then all of a sudden you take this to 4 and that changes all of that. The number you don't really need to change or want to change is this number right here. It doesn't mean that 80 has to be your final number, but what I'm going to show you is that it's a completely legit number, right? Especially when you think about just 2 referrals a week per referral partner. So if we run the math, we got our work here, we got the number of referral partners, we have the number of conversations per week we're going to have, we have the total number of conversations during the month that we're going to have. So now we start to apply some efficiency optics. What do I mean by that? An efficiency optic is how good are you at a level of mastery on a particular discipline. In this particular conversation, the discipline is conversion, right? So if you are at a level of mastery, you will convert at a higher level. If you are at a level that is less than mastery, at some level less than you have this completely nailed, you'll have a smaller conversion. The other thing that affects conversion is, do you have the right partners who are referring the right people? If you have the wrong partners, they refer the wrong people, they aren't as convertible, right? They don't have the capacity, maybe they don't have the credit, maybe they don't have the cash, you know, those types of things that go into this. But at any event, I want you to play around with 3 optics, right? So again, 10 months, 10 referral partners, 2 buyers per week per partner, 80 buyer conversations in a month to determine their qualification capacity to buy residential real estate. If I am at a 25% conversion of that number, 80, then you can see that I'm going to have in that given month 20 applicants. Now, if I could spend a month, 2 months, maybe 3 months really skilling up in the area of conversion, how I build trust, the kind of questions I ask, the depth of the advice I give, the amount of follow-up that I put into play, all those things going into a higher level of mastery in the area of conversion. Let's say that 25% pops up to 50. So now I am not changing this number whatsoever. That number remains fixed at 80. I am changing this number from 25 to 50, and you can see that that's then going to yield 40 buyer conversations. So the numbers don't change up here. The only number that I really want to change, and I can say to you without any hesitation, this can be a career decision. Okay? That's how powerful this is. I don't ever have to change this to make 7 figures. Okay? All I have to do is change this and one other variable to make the 7-figure reality a reality. So let's say I spend another 1 or 2 or 3 months. Let's say it takes me a year to really get good at conversion, and I can move from a 25% conversion to get 20, a 50% conversion to get 40, and now I can move to a 75% conversion to get 60, all right? If I'm at 75%, I will tell you right now, being a success coach in this business for 25 years, you are at mastery level. Not only do you have the right referral partners giving you the right qualified buyers, but your skill sets in advice, questions, dialogue, follow-up, trust, all those things are at the highest level possible. So in any given year, 25, 50, or 75% conversion. So now if I want to marry that up to 7-figure selling, I simply look at one other variable, which is this variable called pull through. So it's the number of conversations that have gone into an application and the percentage of those that actually fund or close, right? So if I have an 80% pull through, that's good. If I have an 85% pull through, that's better. If I have a 90, that's better. Okay, and so it all gets back again to, do I have the right referral partners referring the kind of qualified buyers that I want to have a conversation with to me on a relatively consistent basis? Let's say that we're going to leave this at 80, okay? So on any one of these numbers on a 10-month work year, you can see what starts to happen. So if I'm going to fund an 80% number of a conversion that is 20 per month or 200 in 10 months, I am going to fund 160 units. So the math that I'm going to use is your commission per loan, and it's going to vary depending on where you are, but your commission per loan at $3,500 a loan is $560,000 a year. That is an actual K, $560,000 a year. If I leave this number the same and I'm simply improving my conversion to 40 at a 10-month work year, that's 400 times my conversion rate, or my 10 months times my pull-through rate of 80%, I'm now at 320 funded units. Again, at 3,500, I am at $1.12 million in commissions. So the seven-figure selling mark happens right about here, okay? Somewhere probably around 300 units or so, given our math of $3,500 a deal. If I continue my journey of getting really great at conversion, again, accelerating trust, the right kinds of questions, even better advice, I go from 25 to 50 all the way over to 75% conversion. I now get to, out of the 80, have 60 applications. The 60 applications materialize at an 80% pull-through to a number of 480 units funded. Again, at $3,500 a unit, that is $1.68 million in commissions. So I want you to see this, and I want you to realize that the only decision you have to make in business planning for any year that you're about to go into is really what these optics look like, okay? I don't ever in my whole career, unless I want to make more than $1.6 million, which there are people out there that want to do that, and this number is going to have to grow. But if I want to make around seven figures, and I want to do that for my career, I'm going to need to be in the range of about 25 units or so funded a given month on a 12-month work year, and somewhere around 325 a year on a 10-month work year to make that money. I don't ever have to change the number of conversations. I can change the number of referral partners up or down. Okay, that may or may not change this if I let this number change. But those are the only four numbers that you really need to be aware of. So then what is left? The only thing that is left is the 80, okay? And the 80 buyer conversations, that's where your sales and marketing effort comes into play. That's where you call your partners every week. That's where you're doing lunch and learns in corporations. That's where you have a lead gen process where, maybe you're using online tools, maybe you're using referral networks, maybe you're using the circle of cash flow that we have trademarked and patented. But the 80 is easy. I have one person that might know 8. I got 8 people that know 8. That's 64. I got 64 that know 8. That's north of 400 and something. So you start playing that game right, and the 2 a week is not a hard number. So as you head into the year and think about business planning, if you want to make 7 figures, here's the recipe on how to do it. If you want more information on the High Trust Sales Academy or Masterclass, go to hightrust.com. Certainly, if you like this demonstration and you are a manager, go ahead and make sure you share this with all of your loan officers. You can just hit that share button and get it to all your LOs. If you want to sit down and have a conversation with your real estate agents, share it with them. And if you're not subscribing, this is the kind of stuff we do each week on Todd Duncan TV. 7-figure selling, 4 numbers, master your conversion, keep the pull through high, and this is what you're going to end up doing each and every year. Okay? Good selling in the year to come, and thanks for being a subscriber.